Okay, so here's the homework. I didn't tell you what pages these were. Chances are you did not see the table of contents. So the notes were on page 41, and this homework's going to be on page 42. All right, the first couple problems just want you to use your graphing calculator to solve, just to get, realize that you can do that. So any problem, one is not any harder than the other. So let's just do the first one together. Make sure your plots are off. They should be at this point. And I'm just going to type one of them into y1. And I'm going to put the other one into y2. And I guess my biggest thing I would have to say is make sure your equations are typed in correctly. Use minus signs, not negative signs. Zoom 6 should work for all of them. And what I want you guys to see here is that these two don't meet. So what I would say here is there's no solution. Okay? So let's go to this one, so you can try the rest. And if they do meet, you're going to use second trace. You're going to use the fifth option, and you just have to move that cursor close to where the two meet. All right? Okay, so in exercises 7 through 10, you're going to solve. You don't have to do substitution. I don't care which method you use. I will do substitution here. On the other side, I'll show you an elimination. The idea is you're going to substitute in. So I think what we'll do is a little bit of prep work for all of them and then let you guys go from there. So substituting in, you need to make sure that one of the equations is either y equals everything or x equals everything. I would suggest you just go with, for the most part, y equaling everything. Okay? So what I'm going to do on this problem is, this one's already y equals everything. I'm going to take the fact that y equals all of this, and I'm going to substitute it into there. So this y comes out, and x squared minus 3 goes in. So y's out, and now I still have the plus 1, and it equals negative x squared. Now what you need to do is decide how are you going to solve? How many different types of x's do you have? Here you have just the same type of x, so you can actually use the square root method. Which means you need to get x by itself. So I think what I'm going to do is to get x by itself is, well, I can move this over here, or I can move this over here. I'll just put a 1 here and a 1 here. And now to get x by itself, I'm going to subtract this to join over here. And those cancel out. If you want to go ahead and add those up, you get negative 2. And then negative 1x squared taken away another negative 1x squared is negative 2x squared. And now I'm going to leave it to you. Now remember, this is going to have more than one answer. So I would recommend that you go to your graphing calculator, you type these in. So x squared, I'll put on y1. And this one I need to get it into y equals. So I'm just going to subtract the 1 over. So when I type it in, it's going to be negative x squared and then minus 1, and then zoom 6. So you can see, you can check on your calculator what those points are going to be, so what you should be working for. And remember, after you find x, don't forget to plug it back into one of those two to find y. So let's take a look at this one. Let's get this one ready. I need this one to look like this one. So again, this just means I have 2 of these. So first thing I'm going to do is, whoops, I forgot my minus 27. A little bit of prep work. I'm going to multiply these parentheses out. And that's just the distributive property. So x goes through first. And then the negative 2 goes through. So I get another minus 2x and a positive 4. I'm going to combine these like terms. I'm going to make it addition. So now these parentheses are replaced by this. And now 3 is going to get its turn to multiply in. So 3 is just going to visit everything. And then I still have the minus 27. And then I'm going to finish, and again, this was all y equals. I'll put that y equals in there now. I'll have 3x squared plus negative 12x. And then when I put those two together, I get negative 15. So there's one equation. Here's the other equation. And now, when I bring these two together using the substitution method, I'm going to take the fact that one of these equals y. So let's say the fact that all of this equals y, and I'm going to put it into there. and then here's the other side. And then when I look at how I'm going to solve, I have more than one type of x, so I'm going to have to factor, which means I'm going to get everything to one side. Again, when you factor, it's better to leave x squared as positive, so I'm going to move the 2x over instead of moving the 3x over. So this is going to move over, it's going to subtract, and I get just an x squared. This is going to move over by adding, and when you take negative 12x and add 7x, you get negative 5x. And I'm going to move the 21 over by subtracting, and when I take negative 15 and subtract that 21, I get negative 36. And now from there you can factor. This will be factorable, and once you get x, don't forget to solve it back into one of those and figure out what your y is. On the last problem, how do you do this? For this one, again, so what we're going to do real quick is back on the front, which I just moved it. We're going to cross out number 9. I didn't realize this is a circle, and we haven't graphed circles, so we will be crossing out number 9. The sub should have told you that. All right, real quick, on the back, this time I want you to try the elimination method, or you can use the substitution. In the end, it really doesn't matter which method you use, but if when you do the elimination method, you just got to make sure you get everything to line up. So first, get them into standard form. That will save you some time. And make sure both of the equations are in the form y equals. So this one isn't. What I'm going to do is just add the y over here and add the 6 back over to there. So when I rewrite this one in standard form, I'll have x squared minus 3x plus 6 equals y. And in this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add the y over there and subtract the 5 over there. So when I'm done, it will be 3x minus 5 or plus negative 5 equals y. So that's just rearranging. And now the variable you always want to get rid of first are the y's. And so right now when I add these up, they add up to 2y. So I need to make one of those negative. But again, the idea is this x squared will be coming down, so I want to leave that one alone because I want it to stay positive. So that means I'm going to turn this one into the negative y by multiplying all of these, this whole thing, by a negative 1. So this top equation won't change. And this bottom one will change. I'll multiply this by negative 3x, and that becomes 5, and that'll become a negative y. So now when you add them up, and maybe you want to add the opposite here, just so you realize those are negatives, my x squared will just come down. My x's are now negative 6x. My other numbers are 11, and these become 0. So at this point, I'm going to leave it up to you. Going through the problems, I'm really going on the fly here. We're going to cross out number 14. This assignment's going to get pretty long, so let's cross that one off. Maybe when we come back, we'll do it as a class. I already got it set up, so don't scribble it out so you can't see it, but we've got enough. On 13, I'm going to let you get this one going. You do have to do like we did on the front side, make this look like this. So, you know, there's 2x plus 2's, multiply those out. Whoops, I don't need that there. And get it into standard form, and then you can proceed. And again, the idea is use the elimination method. Put it in your calculator, see what your solutions are going to be first so you know what you're working for. And that's it. I will see you next week.